دقايق أو دقيقة.
تمام. Hello, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining us for day one of the Global Conference for Diaspora Networks in Science. Sorry, we might have to wait just a bit for everyone to join, but we're glad to have you with us. Hello again, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for day one of the Global Conference for Diaspora Networks in Science. Just want to give you a brief introduction about SASTA, the main organizer for today's conference. SASTA is a non-profit organization that aims to improve the quality of research in the Arab world through different strategies. And one of these strategies actually involves our conference today, where we're inviting diaspora networks from all over the world to come and share with us their success stories and challenges. And right now we're getting ready to start an exciting session titled Public Impact, How to Increase the Public Ranking for Your Research. And the session will be recorded. It is my honor now to present to you the host of the session, Mr. Saad Lutfi. Mr. Lutfi is the CEO of SciCommX, an all-in-one science media and communication agency. He's also has experience, a wide experience in science reporting and consulting and editing in outlets like Scientific American, SciDev.net, and HuffPost. And without further ado, Mr. Lutfi, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Hussein, so much. Good morning, everyone. Can you see my screen? Okay, perfect. So each year there is around 1.7 trillion USD spent on research and development. Out of this budget, there is around 2% spent on research communication. This gives us an estimation of 35 billion USD. I strongly believe that in the next 5 years, these numbers will at least reach 5% of the annual spend on research and development to be only allocated to research communication. And in this session, I will show you how spending only 2 hours weekly can drive significant attention to your research and elevate your impact and your work impact. My name is Saad Lutfi. Basically, I am a dentist, but I no longer practice. I shifted from dentistry to science communication, working now as a CEO of SciCommX. SciCommX is a science media and science communication consultancy. We work with many leading research and university organizations all over the globe to help them with their science media and science communication strategies and projects. I am also the co-founder of Science Journalism Forum, the Arab Forum of Science Media and Communication, Arab Science Week, and a digital magazine called Scientific Arab. Before founding SciCommX, I worked as the editor-in-chief of the Arabic version of Popular Science magazine. And I wrote for many magazines, including Scientific American, SciDev, HuffPost, and many other publications. Before we start, I would like to know more about you. So if you can use your phone and scan this code, or visit this website, slido.com, and you can enter the code SASTA. So are you ready? Okay, so which country are you attending from? I'm attending from UAE, mainly from Dubai. Nepal, Spain, South Africa, Bahrain, Egypt, Japan, South Africa. If you can't find the Slido, you can write in the chat box, it's fine. Sudan, Egypt, Oman, Germany, Nigeria in the chat. Okay, perfect. So you are covering almost everywhere on the planet. So next question, what is your job title? So Anna, hi everyone. Kitcher, associate professor, student researcher. Okay, associate professor of education technology. Grad student. Assistant professor, researcher, research fellow. Academic researcher. Okay, researchers. So almost everyone is in research field, professor. Principal consultant, researcher, chairperson of NGO. Okay, interesting. And the last question, I would like to know what are your expectations from this session? What you are looking forward to learn in this session? And you can write it at Slido or in the Zoom chat box. Tips on how to promote research. Okay. How to use this platform for successful research and reach diverse diaspora. Interesting. Making research visible and more accessible to people in the same field to gain insight about public engagement, to maximize benefits of my work, learn from global experiences. Okay. How to have a breaking ground research, global impact and implementation of research outputs. Learn about how academics switch to science communication. Okay, this one is interesting. Okay, perfect. Thank you everyone for sharing on this. So let's start with a quick recap on the impact metrics. As since you are already in the research field, so you know that most of metrics are mainly based on citations, and it's the only metric that matters for many researchers and many organizations. So from your perspective, do you think that the impact factor or citation-based factors are the only factors that matters when we evaluate the impact of research? I would like to hear your thoughts in the chat. Citation? No. Okay. So do you think it's only citation, or we need to find other metrics, or we use other metrics for this to measure the impact? Okay, so we have traditional metrics. Most of them are based on citations, like impact factor, H-index, but there are some limitations for this. They don't track real-time data. Usually they favor prestigious journals. They favor famous researchers who started a while ago. They only track research papers. They don't track other flavors of impact, like, for example, public policy reports or science reports, and so on. Recently there is many platforms and many organizations are moving into using other complementary metrics for impact. These are supplementary metrics. They are not alternative to citations. Still, citations is very important, but with citations, we need to use other altmetric or supplementary or complementary metrics. These metrics usually offer real-time data, who's speaking about research, how many views, who's talking about it, where was it published. They rank research from different sources, so it's not about only the journal, but they track science reports, blog magazines, newsletters, social media discussions, citations in Wikipedia, everything. Which research papers are booming comparing to other, what everyone is saying about this research. And usually the way this works is each organization now use softwares that can easily track the impact of each research. Like, for example, Altmetrics. I think most of your universities or research organizations are already using it. So in Altmetric, this software, it tracks everything related to a topic or research paper with real-time data. And it tracks from all sources, not only the journal, but on social media as well, magazines, public policy, conference papers, Twitter accounts, everything as long as it's public and available online. And this usually helps organizations to take decisions and benchmark the performance of each research against other research. So, for example, you can know which research is booming in your field or in your domain. You can compare your research paper and impact against other papers related to the same topics. We can also use it to compare between organizations, especially research centers or universities. And usually funding organizations use it to evaluate the impact of the funded projects that they give money to. So if you have any questions so far, I would like to have them. You can write in the chat, and I think you have a Q&A box as well that you can use to add your questions. Okay, I think we don't have any questions right now, so I will drop to the most important part of this session is how to promote your research to make sure that it has higher impact. From my perspective, I think there are mainly 3 steps that you can work on to engage with the audience and promote your research. These steps are create, collaborate, and engage. In the create, first you need to make sure that you have a public profile on your university. This profile should be updated. Every research or new paper you publish, you should mention it. You can share your blog posts, your opinions, if you will speak in conference. Everything you do, you should add to this profile, and it should be updated. From our experience working with many universities, most researchers skip this part, or their universities skip creating their profile. Alternatively, there are many other softwares and platforms that offer creating a researcher profile where you can update it by yourself and add new information and new research. Second is, it's better if you can have your own personal website. You can host it on a platform. You can do it yourself. You can make it with a freelancer or agency. The cost will be around, if you have a domain name for yourself, the cost will be around $10 to $20, but it worth investment. So I can have my own website like saadalotfi.com, and I put more information about me, my expertise, my new research papers and news, and this will help eventually promote my work. Third, you need to make sure that you have updated account on websites where researchers can communicate together and publish their work, like academia, ResearchGate, Mendeley, if there are other platforms based on your research field. Also, it's a good idea to have updated LinkedIn account that you can publish on regularly, and a Twitter profile where you can share your ideas, your thoughts, and update the audience on your research, your new research papers. And if you will have a website, you can add a blog or a newsletter to it where you can share like weekly or monthly updates. If you don't have a website, you can host this blog on any other platforms like Medium, for example. You can have a blog on it. You can use Substack. If you will have like editorial newsletter in English, you can use our own software for newsletters in Arabic. It's called Hudhud. You can use it, go hudhud.com. If you are interested in having an Arabic newsletter. Once you make sure that you already created your accounts, second step is to collaborate. You need to collaborate first with a university press team, especially when you publish a new paper. You can also collaborate with the publisher press team. So usually university and publishers have their team who are dedicated for promoting the research. They write press releases, they communicate with media, they make sure that the research gets more visibility. So before publishing, it's always a good idea to communicate with them, collaborate with them, add quotes to the press releases. If you can shoot a video or offer consultation or give them information that can help them write the press release, this will also promote your work. You can add some quotes which media can use, and the university team can help you with what to say and what not to say when speaking to media. You can coordinate with them to have a Q&A sessions on university social media accounts or public webinars. They can put your quotes on social media as social media posts on Twitter or LinkedIn or Facebook. They can do videos that can go on Instagram or TikTok. And usually they are experts in dealing with media. So if you need a training, they will support you with this as well. The third step is the engagement. And in this step, you need to make sure that you always engage with your audience. And there are many ways that you can do to engage. You don't have to do everything listed here. These are just a quick ideas on what to use. So for example, you can create a weekly or monthly blog where you can share your thoughts and experiences on a topic related to your research. So if, for example, if you are a researcher in climate change or nanotechnology, you can simply create a blog about nanotechnology for public audiences. And every week or every month, you write like 500 word blog post in simple way, which audiences can understand. You should be very active on social media by creating regular content. You can do it on daily basis, but I'm sure that you have time limitations, so you can do it as well on weekly basis. The most important idea here is to keep posting. No matter you will keep posted daily, weekly, or even monthly, but you need to build a habit for that. You can also create your own podcast. If you can do this, you can be a guest on other podcasts. So search for podcasts relevant for your field, and you can send the host an email that you are available if they are interested to have an interview with you or to be a guest speaker with them. For example, if you are in the sustainability track, we are doing a podcast about sustainability for Hamad bin Khalifa University, about sustainability and from Middle East perspective. So if your work related to sustainability and you would like to be guest in our podcast, please feel free to contact with us and we can arrange that. Also, you need to engage with journalists, media representatives, press teams. So whenever you publish a new paper, you can send it to them directly so they can publish about it in their publications. Also, you can be available for TV shows, interviews, and usually when you publish on social media, you get more followers. And in this case, producers make attention to your account, and usually when they talk about topic related to your experience, they will invite you to be a guest or have interview or take comments from you. Also, you can speak in public events, do science experiments, not only limited to the pure science conferences that are related to your field, but here it's better to go to the public audiences. For example, we organize the Arab Science Week, where Arab scientists can share their experiences and promote their research for the Arab public audiences. You can also engage on social media, replying to comments, replying to messages. You can have your own newsletter on weekly or monthly basis. You can go on TikTok or Instagram, and there are many other great ideas that you can use to engage. So here are quick tips and tricks that can help you to promote your research. First, when publishing, if you can publish in an open access journal, it will be a good idea. So it will be accessible for everyone. Also, you should self-archive your work, even if there are other platforms do this for you, or your university already do this for you. Always good idea to do it yourself as a plan B. Also publish all outputs in different platforms. So you published a new paper, you can write a blog post about it. You can send it in a newsletter. You can write a press release that you can share on your LinkedIn account. You can put it on Academia, ResearchGate. You can create some infographics and post it on social media. You can create a presentation about it and put it on a SlideShare or any other platform. So distribute all the outputs of your research, not only a press release, not only the research paper itself, but try to take all outputs and publish it everywhere. And while you are doing this, you should also add a reference for this research. So the software that track the research impact can get attention to this post or this content that you already created. In the engagement, when you decide to inform the audiences about your recent research paper, always start with your audience. Identify your audience. Who would you like to talk with? Are they public? Are they media? Are they funding organizations, researchers in your field, researchers in different fields? So start creating what we call a buyer persona or audience persona, where you can list all details about the audiences you want to attract and engage with. Based on the audience, you should second create the message that you want them to receive and consume, and third, you start creating the content based on these audiences. And when you are creating the content, you should focus more on the format of each content piece you create and make sure that it fits for your audience. So for example, if one of your objectives is to target Generation Z or younger generations and promote your expertise to them, in this case, it will be a good idea to go to TikTok or Instagram and do videos, 1-minute videos, sharing some tips with them or how to do or what you work on in funny and engaging way. If you are speaking with funders, in this case, it will be a better idea if you can create a report, for example, or a presentation or pitch deck illustrating everything related to research that can be consumable and understandable by the funders. If you need to talk with media, you can create a press release, add all references, add the research paper, add comments to it, and send this to media or arrange interviews with them. So if you know the audience, you will know how and what are the best ways to engage with them. Second, engage on social media whenever you can. Write tweets, write LinkedIn posts, do it regularly. Make sure that your accounts are updated. Publish even about, you don't have necessarily to focus on your research, but you can write about other research. So for example, in the pandemic, we saw many researchers and many scientists started talking about their expertise in virology and vaccines. They received many followers. Then the media got attention to them and started inviting them for TV shows, interviews, podcasts, conferences. So always write about your field and about your experience. Use multimedia whenever you can. You can create infographics, you can create videos, you can create audio. And there are many platforms that can create this. One of them is Canva, canva.com, which you can use for free to create simple infographics that everyone can understand. Avoid too much jargon, especially when you are speaking with public audience. Limit the scientific terms as much as you can. Make sure that it's your story and the content you are sharing is related to your audiences. Use storytelling, tell them the content in the form of a story. This always inspire and shows the impact of your work. Third, for maintenance, you should be reachable. And as one who's been 10 years in science journalism, this is always an issue with many scientists and researchers. Whenever I cover a story, I need an expert to talk with, to ask them my questions. And I can't simply find their contact details. They have a company, they have a university profile, but it doesn't have their email. I can't find them on LinkedIn. They are closing messaging on Twitter. So be reachable as much as you can, at least an email or LinkedIn profile, or a way that people can communicate with you. Whenever you receive a media inquiry, please reply fast, because usually the media have tight deadlines. They need to cover the stories and publish them as soon as possible. So even if you can't give a comment or you can't participate, you can simply reply to them that you can do this at that time, but they can reach out to you in the future whenever they cover another story. Make sure that your profiles are updated everywhere. If you publish a new research, add it to your university profile or your own website, LinkedIn website. And when you are sharing a new research paper, please avoid putting diagram from your research. It's not attractive. You can either create an infographic that illustrates the information or illustrate your research. You can have a stock image from any platform that attract audiences to read this. And again, this all depends on the audiences that you are speaking with and you are targeting with. Eventually, you don't have to share the research itself. Maybe you can just write a post about the new research. What is it about? What the impact is, and in the comments you add a reference for this research, or in the resources you can add reference to your research. Be consistent, even if you don't get too many views in the beginning. It's normal. Be consistent, keep publishing. Eventually you will get higher viewers. And also, if you can do this, it will show a great impact for your work. Be ready for speaking with science media and public audiences. You can do this by having a science media or science communication training. You can arrange this with your university or research bridge team. You can have online courses. You can attend science communication conferences. This will help you speak better with media and public audiences and create different formats of content. And always remember that practice makes perfect. One last thing that I didn't mention here is that whenever you publish a new paper, make sure that you have a press release in embargoed mode. So usually when we cover a new story or a research story, we know about the publishing date, maybe 1 week or 2 weeks before the real publishing date. So we can write the story, arrange with the experts, take comments, and when the time of publishing comes, usually media publish in the same day or in the same time. And there are many platforms that use this, like Eureka Alert or Galileo. They host embargoed press releases for science journalists. So whenever you publish a paper or you know that your paper will be published in 1 week or 2 weeks, coordinate with your media team to make sure that you have a press release that you can send to trusted science journalists that you know, or you can host it on a platform like Eureka Alert. Also, you can attend the conferences to build your media network. One of them is our event, Science Journalism Forum. This event is a multilingual virtual event for over 2,000 science journalists from all over the globe. We publish it in English, Spanish, Portuguese, French, and Arabic. And usually 10% of the attendees are usually scientists and researchers who are interested in speaking with science journalists. So you can attend this conference. It's fully virtual. It will be from 29 October to 4th November, so in around 6 weeks from now. You can attend and network with many science journalists all over the globe who are interested in publishing new research papers. So I will stop here for Q&A. If you have any questions, I would like to ask. So it's my, yeah, sure. So my contact, I will write my email. So you can reach out to me through this email. Thank you so much. So any questions? Can we get an invite for the forum? Yeah, sure. We can send a newsletter email after the conference with the website and a free invitation that you can use to get access to this. Are there free websites? Free websites for what exactly? Informative. Thank you, Eve. Glad you enjoyed it. For uploading my papers, yeah, I think Academia and ResearchGates, Mendeley, you can use these to add your papers. Just make sure that it doesn't interfere with the publisher policy. I think we have a question here in the Q&A. I can't see it, Hussein. If you can see it, can you say it?
Sure, no problem. So the question is from Sir Suresh. They're asking, can you please share blogs, websites, links for research-related activities?
Sorry, can you share blogs and what?
Blogs and website links for research-related activities.
For research-related activity, yeah, there are many websites for that. As I said, there are Academia, ResearchGate, Mendeley. They are network for researchers. Elsevier, I think they have their own platforms as well. I think each field or each category of science has its own websites and the blog posts and everything. So usually what I do is I search on Google. I use Google or Google Scholar, or I reach out to other researchers who may have an idea about what are the best websites or best platforms for a specific category or a specific domain of science.
Amazing. Thank you so much. There is another question from Dr. Shahinaz. She's asking for a brief about the H-index.
Yeah, so H-index is one of metrics that usually evaluate, or not evaluation, it usually assess each researchers, and it's also related to citations as well.
Great. Thank you so much, Mr. Lutfi.
Okay, so I think that's it. Thank you everyone for joining. These are my contact information. You can reach out to me anytime, and it was a pleasure being with you here today. I would like to thank SASTA for inviting me for this conference. And thank you, Hussein, for assisting me with everything.
My pleasure, Mr. Lutfi. Thank you so much.
Thank
And,
you. Thank you, everyone.
We're getting ready for another session in 15 minutes about scientific diaspora in the Southeast. So please join us. Thank you all.